All right, Shalom, Shalom. First off, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakar Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, all the men and the women who follow. So, I got a couple of screenshots here. Well, we're not going to actually play the video because this guy Hasad has, he has ads on his videos. He's monetizing his videos, so I don't want to get a strike from him, saying that we took his copyrighted. So we're going to use his audio all from his video, but so it's going to address a couple points. And as you've seen the title, correcting Hasad in Ezekiel 38. So Lord's word is edifying, and we're going to play the first clip, and like we said, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, just do some correcting.
And then they had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. So this is, around the time in which America is destroyed, and there's going to be those who are saved, who have the victory over the beast, who didn't take the mark of the beast, and they're going to be standing in a chariot, looking down and watching the destruction of this place. No disagreement there. The disagreement is, he's going to tell you what the disagreement is, and I'll just let him say it, matter of fact.
Want to build a YouTube channel but dread being on camera? I just found an AI tool called InVideo that can create a faceless channel for you.
So we're not going to come by and the Russians are going to, rule and do this, and we're going to kick the Russians in their ass. No. When this man goes down, when we come down now, we can say this. Them people, when we come back to Earth as the X-Men, whatever you want to call Marvel comic, DC comic men, the Thanoses and the Kal-Els and so forth. When we come back down with superhuman, extraterrestrial, celestial bodies, they may attempt to fight us.
So now people might be confused. So what's the disagreement, Hassan? The disagreement is, in my video, I said that when Babylon, which is the United States of America, is destroyed by Russia, its allies, and then America's own allies that are going to turn on it, what's going to happen is Russia is going to rule for a very, very short period of time. After Babylon's destroyed, Russia will have a very, very short period of time in which they rule, and then they come up against us, and then we take them down, and then we rule the planet Earth in perpetuity. Ariella, what's going on, my brother? Gian,
So what he said was, hold on, let me, because it's so bugged out.
To GMS. And then what's going to happen is Russia is going to rule for a very, very short period of time. After Babylon's destroyed, Russia will have a very, very short period of time in which they rule, and then they come up against us, and then we take them down, and then we rule the planet Earth in perpetuity.
Right. So he's saying that after Babylon, after America is destroyed, Russia is going to set up a kingdom, and then we're going to take down that kingdom. Baba Washai, before we even get into that, can we get in Daniel, the 7th chapter, where it gives the breakdown? I think it's like 19 or 15. You do that?
Daniel, the one with the beast, right?
Yeah.
Daniel chapter 7.
Pull the chair and sit over me close over here. That chair from over there.
Okay. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 16. I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever.
All right, so we're going to take the kingdom and possess it forever, okay? And that's going to be our everlasting rulership. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Even forever and ever. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass.
Right, and this fourth beast that is speaking about, who's dreadful and brass teeth and iron, this and that, is speaking about America. Okay, it's speaking about the Roman Empire ultimately, but America is the last leg of the Roman Empire, the beast whose deadly wound was healed. Bible shot, can we get that real quick? Yes, Zach. When you have to get that.
God, if you find it before me, can you come
No.
back? Okay.
Go ahead, you get it. I don't see you get it.
Okay. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed.
Right. So speaking about, the all the empires, about the Roman Empire being that dragon, and what's that last part?
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
Right, one of his heads as if it were wounded until death.
And his deadly wound was
healed. That's the downfall of the Holy Roman Empire. Okay, and the wound being healed is the dawn and the eventual downfall of America, which is the last leg of the Roman Empire. So if the last leg of the Roman Empire is the last empire before our empire, how do the Russians have an empire? Whether it be a 2-day empire, a 20-year empire, a 2-second empire, like the Apostle Tahar said. They won't rule for 2 seconds because the last leg of the Roman Empire is the empire whom as what the scriptures say, the rock that smote the feet. It didn't smote the feet of the Russians. It smote the feet of the Roman Empire, and that takes place in America. But he's going to explain his point a little bit more in this next clip. So let's just play the next clip, and then we'll jump into the Ezekiel 38 point.
And then America's own ally.
You got these ads in here.
Allies that are going to turn on.
Making merchandise of the ministry.
On it. What's going to happen is Russia's going to rule for a very, very short period of time. After Babylon's destroyed, Russia will have a very, very short period of time in which they rule, and then they come up against us, and then we take them down, and then we rule the planet Earth in perpetuity.
So let's back it up one more time.
Ariella, what's going to be on it? What's going to happen is Russia's going to rule for a very, very short period of time. After Babylon's destroyed, Russia will have a very, very short period of time in which they rule, and then.
So after Babylon is destroyed, then Russia will have a very short period of time to rule.
They come up against us, and then we take them down, and then we rule.
And then they come up against us, and we take them down, and then we have the kingdom. That's not so. I think there's a little bit more meat on this bone.
The planet Earth in perpetuity. Ariella, what's going on, my brother? He said GMS equals Great Marvel Studios. But listen, I'm going to focus pretty much completely on the information. And so he disagrees. The disagreement that they have, again, for anybody that's just now tuning in, is They do not believe that Russia is going to rule in any capacity for any time period. I believe they even say not even 2 seconds. And so we're going to examine that in the scriptures. Now, remember, we just got done reading in Revelation 15 that those who stand over those who get the victory over the beast, over the mark of the beast, etc., they're going to stand in a chariot and look down on the destruction of this place. Now, here's the issue. There's a few issues, and I want to look at a couple of scriptures to kind of illustrate this. Revelation 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her."
Oh, so we just going to address this point, because ultimately what he's saying is that we're going to have to, that there's another kingdom that has to be taken down. All right. The point that he was saying, no, that's in the other video, the third video, where he was saying, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah, that might be in the next video.
But either way it goes, man, the whole point is he's saying that America's going to go down and that Russia is going to be like the so-called victor, okay? But it's all going to be World War III going on, okay? So let's get Ezekiel 38 and start at verse 21.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 21. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith the Lord Yahweh. Every man's sword shall be against his brother. Every man's sword shall be against his brother. All right. That's talking about World War III. All right. So matter of fact, let's get the second Ezra 13, starting at 29.
Second Ezra chapter 13, verse 29. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another.
Right, so this is in the midst of the World War III, all right, when all the fighting is going on, all right? And this is the time that we're going to be delivered during the World War III in the midst of the C-HIP and all this, chaos going on. Go ahead.
And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending.
Right, and the scriptures tell us about the World War III. So this is, these are all the signs that are going to be shown in that day that are going to come to pass. And while everybody's fighting, all right, that's when Yahweh Shai will make his appearance, all right, to, as the scripture said, begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, okay?
And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another.
Right, so while they're going at it, while they're battling, okay, they're going to leave that battle. Matter of fact, can we get the Reagan speech? Let's get the Reagan speech.
Antagonisms of the moment. We often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
Right. An alien threat from among this world. So they're going to stop fighting each other and band together to fight, as the scripture says, Michael and his angels. Okay? Yeah.
Second Ezra 13 and 34. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting.
Right. So they're going to try to fight Yahushua and his angels. And now this is, it says an innumerable multitude, because you have the two sides of the factions. You have the NATO and the EU, and then you have that Russian, BRICS, all those nations who were fighting each other. Now they're going to come together and fight against the Most High. All right? Go ahead.
But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands.
Right. We're just going to be too strong for them. All right? They're not going to be able to do anything. All right, go ahead.
And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto fire.
It's going to be easy work. All right. He said he's going to destroy them without labor. Just like when you read up in chapter 13, it speaks about verse 9. It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only saw that he sent out the mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips as a flaming breath, and out of his tongue cast sparks and tempests. And all of this mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath and the great tempest, and it fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight. And all of them burnt up. So it's going to be nothing for the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and all his angels, all his heavenly hosts, to come back and to put down this innumerable multitude trying to fight them. It's a landslide. It's easy. It's an easy win. Flawless victory. So what is this dude talking about when he says that, there's going to be, a force for us to fight after, the destruction? But this guy has more to say, so let's give him his chance.
This is the stuff your insurance company doesn't want you to know about. Have you noticed your auto insurance payment?
Time in which the Russians invade, Israel is going to be still called the land of unwalled villages. Now, why does that matter? Let's look at the NLT. You will say Israel is an
Oh, did he? Okay, that's out of order. Fuck you.
They're going to war against the Saints for 2 weeks, and they're going to be practicing sand.
Yeah, something's out of order. But give me a second here. It should be about 15:30. Here we go.
I'm going to, in this video, demonstrate when that takes place. Who is going to be there? Because those are things that will help answer the question as to whether or not Russia is in a state of rulership. And again, I want to make this very clear. I'm not saying it's a long duration. I'm not saying it's a major rulership. It could be a very, very, very short rulership. Nonetheless, the point remains it's going to be a rulership nonetheless, as minuscule as it might be, as short as it might be. It's going to be one. And again, I'm not going to just say that. I'm going to prove that through the Bible, right? Now I want to go to Ezekiel 38. Let's see what Ezekiel chapter 38 says, because he made mention of it in the video and said these guys are so caught up on Ezekiel 38. Well, why didn't you go into it and then refute what we're saying? I find that very interesting. So Ezekiel 38, and we're going to read this whole chapter as well as Ezekiel 39 later. But I want to get to the point to address what he just said. Ezekiel 38, and we'll start at verse 8. After many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword. Now, when you read this in another version, look what it says. A long time from now, you will be called into action. In the distant future, you will swoop down on the land of Israel, which will be enjoying peace after recovering from war and after its people have returned from many lands to the mountains of Israel.
And that's where he's going off. This is where he trips and fails because he's going off the NLT now through the Spirit. You know, the elder of our camp, Rob Moth, he said the NLT is good, but don't use it as a crutch because in prophecy, the NLT is not accurate. Okay, because it doesn't. The Spirit is not working with the NLT. The Spirit is working with the men of the Lord to break down these scriptures. So if you're allowing the NLT to give you the breakdown, then you're not breaking it down. Whoever wrote the NLT is breaking it down for you. All right, so Baba Kushah, your call?
Back in Ezekiel 38.
Yeah, in verse 8.
This is Ezekiel 38, verse 8. It says, after many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword.
Right, so that land that is brought back from the sword, all right, is speaking about Israel. It is speaking about Israel, but it's speaking about a difficult time, which he says that as well, but he has his difficult times mixed up. I'm going to let him speak real quick.
So we have now a timeline as to when this takes place. So what's going to happen is the nation of Israel is going to go through rough times, like we're going through Jacob's trouble, things of that nature. They're going to get beamed up, and then they're going to.
So he's pushing it to the future. Now, this isn't speaking about our future. This is speaking about our past. Bab Shah, Luke 21 and 24.
Luke chapter 21, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Right. So what happened was Israel as a nation, all right, we're going off. All right, we're worshiping other gods. We're just all around being all around niggas, right? So the Most High gave us a bill of divorce, allowed different nations to come into our land multiple of times. The Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, the Medes, okay? The Muslims, everybody has had their turn in our land. All right. So us being captive to all nations and being trodden down to the Gentiles, that's what it's speaking about. Okay. So Bible was shot back in 38 and 8.
This is Ezekiel 38, verse 8. And after many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter days thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel.
Right. So what was gathered? Who gathered out many people? Were not the Africans putting up when the 10 tribes were taken away by Shalmaneser? Did he not bring heathen and put them into our land? Is that not many people that were gathered? Have we not been in slavery in our land and been imported and exported out of that land? That's what he's speaking about. Go ahead and finish that.
Which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely.
Right. It said which have been always waste, because the land has been wasted because we're not there. Okay. And ultimately, when we were there, it went to waste because how we were treating the land. Because we're not supposed to be in that land, worshiping other gods, committing adultery, going against the law, statutes, and commandments. Like I said before, being niggas. So yeah, the land is wasted. It says, but they shall dwell safely, all of them. That's talking about in the kingdom. That's when we would dwell safely. Matter of fact, can we get this word safely? I'm going to have Yatazak get it.
Safely is Strong's H983. It says batach. It says security, safety, securely, properly a place of refuge, safety,
kingdom, the kingdom.
Come.
You know, that's when we're gonna have security. You know, matter of fact, let's
when you get security, just a Google definition, the state of being free from danger or threat.
So are we safe from danger or threat right now? When in our history were we safe from a danger or a threat? Save the 40 years of Solomon.
Never.
But we will be when we get into the kingdom. That's the whole point. That's the long and the short of it. That's when we'll dwell safely. I don't know what this guy's talking about. He's bugged out. I'm gonna let him play. I'm gonna play just a little bit more.
Going to get taken to the land of Israel. Somebody said get from many lands to the mountains of Israel. So we have now a timeline as to when this takes place. So what's going to happen is the nation of Israel is going to go through rough times, like we're going through Jacob's trouble, things of that nature. They're going to get beamed up, and then they're going to get taken to the land of Israel. Somebody said, doesn't sound like the USA is mentioned in Ezekiel 38th chapter at all. Now,
and we're going to get to that because, listen.
You're right. Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, doesn't make mention of the United States.
I'm glad he said that. Let's go to the next clip. Roll the next clip.
Without walls.
I'm going to back this up just a little bit.
Concept, I don't think this is really that controversial. Naturally, Russia would. When we read Jeremiah 51, what country is mentioned by name? Russia is mentioned there. So if Russia is number 2 and America gets taken down, who falls into the slot of number 1? Naturally, Russia would. And you know what's weird to me is
because he's not understanding that there's going to be destruction on both sides. All of you that bend the bow shoot at spare no arrow. America has arrows as well, and they're going to shoot them on the various places around the world. We're going to be the winner of World War III. Okay, when I say us or we, I'm talking about Israel, not America, not Russia, all right, not the BRICS or the NATO or the EU or nothing. No. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is going to be the victor. Because in the midst of that World War III, that's when the Lord will come back and deliver us, all right, and put down everybody else.
Is that this is not a difficult concept, I don't think. I don't think this is really that controversial.
It is controversial because, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? Let me control myself. I'm letting him play.
In my humble opinion, I do think that this is just brothers maybe exercising a bit of pride.
Wow. Who? You?
And just saying, you know what? I see what you're saying, brother. And even if you disagree, but to just say that I'm tripping and I'm bugging out, I don't think that's fair at all, right? So now I want to go back to Ezekiel 38 because look what it says.
Because remember, he said that America is not mentioned in Ezekiel 38. Well, who is God supposed to be beating? The NATO and the EU? America? Are they not gonna? Well, it also speaks about them. Matter of fact, can we get what was that? The land. 18 and 19.
This is the book of Ezekiel 38 and verse 18. And it shall come to pass at that same time when Gog shall come against the land of Israel.
Right. See, speaking about in these times, okay, Gog is going to come against the land of Israel. This is talking about the physical land of Israel. Okay. where those ish people, the JOOs are today. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord Yahweh, that my fury shall come up in my face, for in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel.
Right, and that great shaking are those missiles, because they're gonna pour the missiles on America. Why? Because the least of the flock are gonna draw them out. And when the least of the flock draws them out, who's gonna have the JOOs back? America. This isn't that difficult to a concept to understand. Now let's go to his verse 11 breakdown, and we're gonna end it on this.
I'm going to go to verse 11. It says, "And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates." Now that gives us a bit of knowledge into the timeline, because remember, Elder Tahar said, where does it say in the Bible that the Russians are going to invade and they're going to war against the Saints for 2 weeks and they're going to be practicing sambo and stuff like that? Well, it doesn't give a pinpoint description as for the timeline, but why does this matter? Why did I go here? Well, at the time in which the Russians invade, Israel is going to be still called the land of unwalled villages. Now, why does that matter? Let's look at the NLT. You will say Israel is an unprotected land filled with unwalled villages.
And this is his downfall right here, because he's going into the NLT, okay, and not going off what the Spirit says, all right, or invoking the Spirit, probably because he's all lined up. The Spirit ain't working with him. And the NLT says that Israel is the land of unwalled villages. But anybody with half a spiritual inclination should be able to discern. Can we read Ezekiel 38:11, Baba Kushai?
This is Ezekiel 38, verse 11. "And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages."
Right, the land of unwalled villages is speaking about America. Why? Because America is vulnerable. Matter of fact, let's get that picture that we had earlier. This is a picture of the U.S.-Canadian border. Yeah, that's Canada, and that's America. The land of unwalled villages. Let me see. Yeah, so this is Canada. That's America. That's Canada. That's America. Just one guy's farm to another guy's farm. This is why America is the land of unwalled villages, because it's vulnerable. Okay? It's not, there's no protection. In ancient, now let's, matter of fact, hold on. This is what an ancient walled city would look like. That's protection for the people inside of it. You got to scale these walls to get through. You got to get past the first wall, the second wall, and the whole time getting arrows rained down on you. It's called protection. What does the scripture say? Where there's no hedge, the possession is spoiled. That's why America's going to get spoiled, because there's no hedge of protection. Go ahead, you want to finish that out?
"I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates."
Right. The people are at rest. Nobody cares. It's about to be football season. You know, everybody's running their rat race. You know, got to go to work. You know, you work your 40 hours a week. You come home. You hate your wife. Your kids get on your nerves. Everybody's doing some kind of drug. You know, everybody needs some kind of escape. A hot girl summer. You know, you got to go see Keisha with the big booty. Go see the weed man and get a pint of Hennessy. Jake don't give a fuck. Esau don't give a fuck. Nobody cares in America. So that's why America is the people that dwell safely and that are at rest. Okay? And this guy Hasad, he's very prideful. You know, call Allah Yabashim Yashai that the Spirit is upon me and upon these brothers that we can see and we can understand these scriptures the proper way. Because the Lord is not working with everybody. Y'all brothers got anything else I want to? Hey. Con. So with that being said, Lord's Lord, this was edifying. And we give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, all the men and the women who follow. Shalom.
Shalom.